Hello, Craig. Hello, Daniel. In preparation for the new Fantastic Four movie that's coming out soon, Fantastic Four First Steps, we are going to be taking a look at the 2005 Fantastic Four movie. So, this is the first time I've seen it in such a long time. I saw it when it came out in theaters. And what did you guys think of Fantastic Four from 2005?
I liked it.
Okay. Daniel, what'd you think?
Yeah, I still very much enjoyed it. I remember really liking it when it first came out. I always really liked this along with the Raimi trilogy for Spider-Man, and rewatching it, I still enjoyed it.
It's okay. It's not great. I always thought this one was better than the sequel, which I seem to be in the minority about because this one has gotten really bad reviews, but the sequel, Fantastic Four: Rise of Silver Surfer, got slightly better reviews. Obviously, this goes without saying. They completely butchered Doctor Doom. He is terrible
Let
in
me
this
cut you off
movie.
about the reviews for a sec.
Yes.
I don't know how accurate the consensus is because if you look at the Rotten Tomatoes reviews for the movie,
Yes.
not many of them were from the movie when the movie came out.
I think it was still mixed at the time.
Mixed, but I think it's like at a 25%, which,
27. I just saw
okay,
it.
point is, it's a lot lower because a lot more reviews are coming out now as opposed to when it came out.
No, I think it's always been like that. It's always had a
I'm
low
looking at it right
score.
now.
It's always had a low score. I can use the Wayback Machine, Craig, and it'll still be low. What's your point?
Well, I'm saying I was going to get to the point of where I think people often treat this a lot worse than how it really is because when an MCU does something, people like to think only the MCU could do something well. So what
Mhm.
came before it must be bad. In some cases, it's true, like we talked about the 2003 Daredevil, that was atrocious.
Hmm. Well, this is
MCU one
better
was
than
better.
that. I think that's fair
Yes,
to
but this was
say.
never as bad as that. This was, like a solid mid movie, but people treat it like it's much worse because now they have to praise the MCU one. It's going to
Well,
be automatically better because
there's
it's a
there's a couple
MCU
things
movie.
going against this. One, because I looked this up on Wikipedia too. This came after The Incredibles, and this movie saw that, and they're like, "Oh God, we have so many similarities." So it said the director, Tim Story, after seeing The Incredibles, decided to make significant script changes and add more special effects to avoid similarities. So right off the bat, this is already compared to not only other Marvel movies, but even to The Incredibles, and
Yeah,
that's
it's
a
very poor timing because
that's really hard to go up
Yeah,
against.
I mean obviously there's similarities to what's about like superhero families, so it's unfortunate timing if anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's also better than the original movie that came out in the 90s.
Has anyone actually seen that? Because I've never
I've
seen it.
never seen it either. But let's talk about some things that I thought really worked. I thought the cast was really good. They all looked the part. And even the fella who played Mr. Fantastic, Yowan Griffith, I did have to look up how to pronounce it because he's Welsh. And
Oh,
I
that's how you
thought,
say his name.
yeah, I thought he was really good as Mr. Fantastic. He seems a lot better than, from what I've seen from the trailers of Fantastic Four First Steps, Pedro Pascal, who is in everything. So this was nice to see. I always thought he was good. Mr.
yeah.
Fantastic was my favorite from the movies. I know Dana was
I,
a thing boy.
big thing guy. I liked well him and Johnny were the best too. But I thought the guy who did Mr. Fantastic was very well
Yowan
done.
Griffith.
Is it Griffith? It looks like Griffud.
Yeah, but it's Welsh though,
Oh,
idiot.
oh.
Well, that's not how we say it around here, brother. We say how we want.
Also, I thought the thing. A lot of people don't like the costume for the thing, but I thought it looked good.
He's still the best one to date.
Yeah, and then the voice too is so spot on because
Yeah.
then you look back at the Fantastic Four First Steps. And you see it from that trailer clip. All right, all right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. His voice
okay.
doesn't change at all.
Okay. Okay.
Doesn't match what
Well,
you think the thing would sound like.
the other thing too, people always bring up the full makeup suit, the practical suit, and they always say, "Oh well, if only it was a CGI." I'm like this was filmed in 2004. Do you really think they had the budget and the special effects to make like a fully accurate CGI rock thing throughout the entire movie?
They didn't have
No.
VFX artists to abuse back then.
Yeah.
Only Marvel can do that now.
Also, these movies cost so much money now. This it still cost a lot for its time, but was never not as much as it is now.
Yeah, and CGI back then was just a lot more trickier because they haven't
Yeah.
refined all the methods. And think about how many shots the thing was in the original movie, and then each shot, at least from what I heard, for some VFX shots can be up to like 10, 20 grand for just a shot. And a shot could be a second, and multiply that by how many shots he's in.
Yeah.
So it adds up. But I thought it looks good. There's
That's
something physically there.
yeah.
Looks great. My only
Yeah, I've
complaint
never had a
is
problem
And
with
his,
it.
I just
his
think
voice,
it
yeah.
was a little too tiny.
Oh, the actor?
Yeah. Well, they could have had made the suit a little
Well,
bigger because he was like the size of Jessica Alba.
I mean, the suit already made him look bigger.
No, just taller,
but in
taller.
terms of height,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, make him a little taller. But everything else was good.
Yeah.
It's just
Apparently,
Doctor
that the
Doom.
actor who played him, Michael Chiklis,
Chickless.
Chiklis, I read up that he actually was a big Fantastic Four fan. He was a big comic book fan, so he was dying to play the Thing.
And then you compare him to being in that disgusting suit for the whole entire shoot, and then you have actors. I don't want to wear a helmet, even though most of my face is shown.
I don't know how people could. I mean, I know you're getting paid millions of dollars, but like, yeah, I'd rather wear a helmet than have to torture myself getting painted on like rocks all the time. At least only his upper body. It's not his whole body.
Yeah, because I think they said in the sequel they refined the methods, but it was definitely a lot more brutal in this one for Michael Chiklis. Let's talk about Doctor Doom and how none of the movies for Fantastic Four seem to get him right. This one's no exception because when he is hit by the cosmic storm in the very beginning, they said his body composition is becoming metallic alloy or metal alloy. So he's turning into Metal Man who can conduct electricity. And it's just so strange why they decided to go that route.
Yeah, and they mentioned Latveria once. He was just some boring
Mention it,
Yeah.
mention
businessman.
it twice. They mentioned it twice.
Did they?
Well,
I
it was
only,
good.
I,
I
only,
remember
I
it
only,
once.
I only remember when they showed his helmet and it was donated from the people of Latveria.
And at
Oh.
the end, when he is on the shipping container, it's going to Latveria. Did you guys not watch the movie?
No. I was thinking of when he kills that one board director and he goes, "Why don't you go back to Latveria, the old country?"
Yeah.
That's all I was thinking of.
I was thinking of when they show his helmet for the first time in that case. It says it was a thank you to him for his humanitarian works from the people of Latveria.
Kind of
Yeah,
wish
that one
they.
too.
I know Marvel 2 Alliance came out after this, but they did Doctor Doom so well in that. And then you see this, and just guy who shoots electricity from his hands. I think also this is a superhero movie that's a product of its time. A
Yeah.
lot of bad dialogue, very clunky. Doom says, "This is gonna be fun," ha 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 ha, and he starts conducting electricity. A lot of that is just even more cheesier than the Raimi movies.
Yeah,
Made me cringe a little bit.
the one line where Doom says,
Marco Polo.
or I always wanted power. Now I have unlimited power.
Yeah. Susan, let's not fight. No, let's. Ugh, breaks the soul hearing that.
Well, I was gonna say, I think you talking about Doom, but I think they're based this more on the Ultimate Universe.
They might have. I
And-
don't know.
Well, I remember seeing that because I think in that one he has like the metallic skin and can shoot electricity.
I guess. I don't know what it is with Doctor Doom because.
Well, I was thinking about this too watching the movie, and I think it was just at that time period they didn't want things to go too fantastical.
Yes.
I think that's where it comes from, where they're trying to pick, it's gotta be more realistic. That's why Doctor Doom can't be a sorcerer in an Iron Man suit. I think he's gotta get the powers himself. He can't be a dictator who can just walk through New York City and say he's got diplomatic immunity. It's too kooky. Can't
I
do that.
understand
No
the
woman.
struggle. Yes, because now you can definitely do that. Because back then they're trying to make comic book movies for everyone, and that's why they had to not modernize, but they had to not make it too nerdy or only fanboys would get it. It had to appeal to everyone. So I could see the struggle they had, but it just wasn't well done what they did anyway.
I think certain parts of it, like the realistic maybe relationship with the four have with each other, because they literally are a family for the most part. So them kind of bickering and stuff, and that stuff being quote unquote realistic is fine. It's when they have the villains they tend to not want to go all out on.
Yeah, because I thought like I said, the other actors, they're fine. They did a good job. It's just the dialogue and the script is so clunky.
Well, I think it works for most of the movie. I think the biggest problem where the movie truly fell off was the final act. Everything got really schlocky.
Yeah.
The ending seemed rushed and almost in a way anticlimactic. It's just hard when you have someone like Doom, to call on your point of Marvel Ultimate Alliance and how he is in the comics, where he's more of a grand scheme villain. He's more of a world threat.
They're
Then
schemers.
Just to be dialed down to some rich billionaire who now wants to take his vengeance out on them.
Because he lost everything.
Yeah. He's a tough villain to try to condense into one movie. I think he's better when you build him up. And also, too, you lose the charm of Doctor Doom when he's not referring to himself in the third person constantly, like in the comics. That's part of his arrogance and his pride. He's always talking about himself in the third person.
I did not know that. That's actually
Yeah.
funny.
He has such an ego on him.
Also, too, he can back it up. Like he's as smart as Reed Richards. He's as powerful as the Fantastic Four. He's got his own country to torture.
Yeah.
Dr. Doom is going to commit tax fraud.
Yeah. Colin, did you ever watch Earth's Mightiest Heroes?
Yeah, I vaguely remember that episode with Dr. Doom.
I think that was the best version of him. No one may lay hands on Doom. His arrogance is so great. But for this movie, again, it's a product of its time, so it's tough.
It's crazy we say product of its time, and it was only 20 years ago. It's crazy how a lot has changed in terms of superhero movie landscapes, where you have the original X-Men movies where it's people in BDSM costumes running around, and now everything's more vibrant and colorful.
Which I definitely think was the change for the better. It's just,
100%, yeah. Well, then you get Thor: Love and Thunder, and it's too much change, but there's always that nice balance that the MCU had, and even the Raimi movies had, where it would never got too like schlocky and crazy like Thor: Love and Thunder, but it wasn't like super dark serious. Zack Snyder.
Oh yeah, it's going, and also I know we'll talk about this another time, but the Fanforstic, where that was again trying to be too realistic and too dumb.
Oh yeah, well this is better than Fanforstic, and maybe that's where a lot of the positive reviews came from, but Fanforstic is barely a movie. At least this is a movie.
Well, it wasn't, talk about the production later.
Yeah, this is just dated. You mean production of this or Fanforstic?
Fanforstic.
Oh, that'll be a whole nother episode, Craig. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
Well, because I remember even rewatching this too. I didn't catch some of the jokes. Maybe I would have caught. Granted, I don't rewatch this as often, but at the very beginning, when they were going to Doom's building, whatever, they called Doom like pop science. Or I guess they're saying he's like a fast food of science and research, which I thought was particularly funny because I've been watching Frasier, and for those of you who don't know, Frasier has a brother who constantly derides Frasier, saying like he is like the McDonald's of psychiatry. He does pop psychiatry, he doesn't do real psychiatry. So I just thought that was particularly funny because I've been watching that like, wow, it's kind of funny. That's the exact same insult Niles always does to Frasier.
Also, before you continue cooking, Craig, I think I might have saw an extended version of this movie way back when the channel FX used to show all these Fox superhero movies
FX got the movie.
Yeah, religiously. And there was two scenes that when I was rewatching, I was like, where are they? The first scene is Johnny Storm is in a club before he goes back to the Baxter Building with Sue to stop Doom. And he's showing off his abilities, and then one guy annoys him, and he just lights the guy's drink on fire and almost burns him. And it shows Johnny that he's just like a fad to them. He's just a show. No one cares.
Like what Sue told him, yeah.
Yeah, exactly what Sue said earlier. And the other clip was... It's kind of the same clip from the scene where Reed and Susan are talking by the water, looking at the Statue of Liberty. In the extended cut, or maybe it was a deleted scene that I saw, Reed Richards' face turns into the Wolverine, and it is disgusting. It is
yeah, he does like the Chad. I've seen the theatrical. He does the
yeah.
Yeah. That's fine, but then the Wolverine was just so gross and off-putting. Because that is an ability he can do. He can change his face.
I feel like he shouldn't have that ability. Like to be like physically alter his appearance. Like that's a bit too far.
Well, Craig, he can stretch.
Okay, he can stretch, but can he like grow facial hair and like rearrange his face?
Know. Still the best line. Oh, you go, Daniel.
I was gonna say that for that scene, if it would have been funny if they tried to do the CGI, but it was too expensive. They just get Hugh Jackman for a quick cameo. It's just clearly him.
That would have been better. So the best joke in the movie is when Johnny's giving the superhero names. What is that thing? That's it. The Thing. So funny. Because when you look at it, you feel so bad for him. Ben Grimm got the shortest end of the stick.
Well, and this is why I can't hate the movie all that much, because I do feel like there are some good scenes in there, like when Ben's fiance gives up her ring.
Oh, he's trying to pick it up.
And he can't pick it up.
Terrible. That's so sad.
It's hard. Like you see him, like he can't grab it, and you feel bad for him.
At least this scene has those, or not this scene. This movie had those scenes to humanize our characters. Especially Ben Grimm. They gave him a lot.
Yeah. And that's where the movie did a really good job. That's why my main thing against it is just the ending. It got way too schlocky. The movie had a heart.
Pop quiz. Or no, what would he say? Chemistry 101.
Yeah.
What happens if you rapidly cool melting molten steel?
Chem 101. What happens when you rapidly cool hot metal?
Yeah, but the thing was the best character in the movie.
Oh, easily. Yeah.
I think at least for most of the audience, because he's got the tragic backstory. And to your point too, where then he felt kind of rushed. Like the whole thing, the whole movie is that he really can't wait to get back to being a normal human being, and then he basically changed his mind at the end because, well, it gives him superpowers. Like he could have fought Doctor Doom and then gone back to being Ben Grimm. Like apparently it's you can go snip snap snip snap and go back and forth. So
Well, I think I was thinking about that too. How he needed Victor's powers to amplify the thing to reverse them back, and maybe it's to recreate the storm to get them back that they need the full power, but not or they don't need the full power to give their powers back. If that makes any sense.
see, I didn't
Maybe they need
interpret it
more
as
energy to reverse them than they do to give them back their powers. I don't know.
you definitely thought more about it. I just thought that Reed couldn't draw enough power from the building, and Doctor Doom saw like the power levels were too low,
Yeah,
so
he did
just
that.
shot.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I thought. Like if they just got adequate power, like a good power source that could keep up the voltage or whatever, and you could do snip snap every time he wanted to do it.
Yeah, that is true.
He basically says, "Yeah, I guess I'm okay with this." It's like, well, I don't know, man. If you can go back,
I would want to go back, if I'm being honest. That's just me. I don't want to be a rock creature.
but even then, like that's why I love the scene where Reed goes on his date with Sue and comes back, and Ben's like, "Yeah, look at you goofing off." It's like I can't make a mistake. It's like Reed, you promised. I don't know. I like that scene where they're like kind of bickering how he wants the cure so badly, and you feel for him.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
100% agree with him. It's not like he's being antsy for no reason. You just look at the guy.
It's not like
Okay.
Reed's doing anything wrong either. It's just he's just getting frustrated that he wants to go back to
Yeah.
normal immediately.
It was funny when they got the x-ray. His lungs did look like a smoker's lungs. Just pure, like, brimstone ash.
I usually don't
I used to
smoke,
be a
kids.
smoker. Yeah. Don't do
Oh, yeah,
drugs.
yeah, don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs.
I think there's a fine line between a little cheese and then this one where it just gets super schlocky at the end. Because the little cheese where he says to the kids, "Don't do drugs," that's funny. That's charming.
Is it cheese though? I thought it was just charming. Like,
It's
he's-
charming,
He's
too.
trying.
Yeah. It's just the ending just devolves, and it is rather anticlimactic where they just quickly beat him and they use supernova.
That's probably more of a special effects thing. Like they can't have these four fighting this one guy.
Well, they just can't have Reed flipping around and stretching and then Sue throwing force fields at Doom. I don't know. Especially for 2005, it'd be too hard.
That's another reason why I think they kind of wrapped it up quickly. Like they each got their shots at Doom, and all right, let's kill him.
And then Reed got the last word at him. I don't know.
Oh, you kind of understand why Doom hates Reed. I mean, he cost him like his space station billions of dollars.
Yeah, I would hate Reed too.
I think in the comics he was also more mad at Reed because he blamed him for how his face turned out.
Well, but I think Reed didn't do anything. He said, I think you made a miscalculation, Victor. And then he's like, I could never make a mistake. Doom doesn't make mistakes. And then he made a mistake, of course, and it blew up in his face.
And he blamed Reed.
Literally. Yeah. He thought he sabotaged it.
Yeah, in this one though, it's definitely a lot more of Reed's fault.
100%. I mean, also, too, like, they're like surprised. It's like he did the calculation. It's like, oh, it's coming in 10 minutes, not 10 hours. It's like, well, can't you see it? I mean, 10 minutes is, if it's that close to you, I don't know.
Yeah, they should have been able to see it if it was minutes away.
Yeah, it's one of those things like,
It definitely felt like an early 2000s
Oh, the
superhero
soundtrack.
movie.
The soundtrack.
Well, the soundtrack was
like a
very
Tony
similar
Hawk
to
video game.
yeah, but even the theme to the movie felt similar to Raimi's for Spider-Man. But I also
Well, it was the same guy who did the X-Men.
I did chuckle too when it was they save everyone on the bridge and everyone just stand there clapping and you hear the audience of the people. That is pulled straight out of a comic book. That was also part of those early 2000s superhero movies. That's where for me felt a bit dated.
Well, I thought that was fine. It's just
No.
Them
I'm not saying it
talking.
wasn't fine. It just that was more of the style for those movies back then. You don't get that. Has the MCU done any of those scenes really?
where they save people.
Well,
Yes, you
more of where
both clap, right?
Yeah, where the crowd is talking and there's really an audience.
I imagine the MCU people would be more akin to clapping because there's so many of them running around.
I did think that was kind of funny too, like when the big set pieces, especially with
Yeah.
movies now. I don't know, like they're fighting aliens and the giant invasions, and for them it was just keeping a fire
Saving
truck
a fire
falling off
truck.
bridge. Yeah.
Very tame.
They're very tame compared to now, where like they're stopping aliens from destroying the city. They're toppling buildings and stuff, fighting giant robots and
Or
aliens.
or Zack Snyder destroying the city while fighting an alien.
It's like, oh, this fire truck with the fall off. Better save it, guys.
Yeah, I thought that was quaint. It was nice.
Yeah.
Because then again, like, as you said, Craig, everything is so dialed up where every set piece is just crazy things happening. A giant meteor is gonna blow up on the Earth or whatever. I don't know what
Every
movie
set
that's
piece
from.
is the GDP of a small country.
Yeah, and this one, yeah, they're just saving a truck from falling off. It's nice, simple, easy.
Although, again, another joke I caught on the space station was just four little words could change our life forever. And you're thinking,
Yeah.
will you marry me? But then he goes, the cloud is accelerating. Got a chuckle out of me. But another thing, too, which I thought, now, obviously, we've seen this movie plenty of times over the years, but imagine if you were an audience member in 2005. They have the shot of like the POV of the Thing or Ben when he gets back to Earth, and Johnny's like, oh, there's something they can do. Like, you're radically changed. And you think, oh, did he turn to the Thing already? And it's Johnny screwing with him, like he just calling him ugly. Because imagine the audience member, you think, oh wow, is this where he turns the Thing already? It's like, no, Johnny's just being a jerk.
Yeah,
It's crazy to think Chris Evans was Johnny Storm and then becomes Captain America.
Like polar opposites. I will say about this movie is that I can see why people say it's mid, is that not a lot really happens, and Doom's almost divorced from what happens with the rest of the people. They obviously he re-destroys the space station, ruins him, but then what happens after the fact, like the Fantastic Four have like nothing to do with that. Like, oh, the board company's trying to ruin him, and like they're trying to screw over Victor. It's like, well, and then he wants to get revenge on the Fantastic Four. Like, why don't you just go kill the board members and go
well, he
destroy
did.
them?
Yeah, he did.
He
Kill the
does, but
board
it's like,
members.
what does that have to do with the Fantastic Four? Like, they're not really. I guess he stole his girl, but I know he hates Reed too. But I don't know. They didn't seem to establish that as much. Like the Fantastic Four were just trying to cure themselves. They weren't trying to do any superheroing. And then Victor is trying to get revenge for being kicked out of a boardroom.
Well, it's not kicked out of a boardroom. They're trying to remove him
Yes.
from the company.
Oh yeah. It's just kind of like divorce. Like there's no real superheroing, right? It's just them trying to cure themselves and like the
Yeah,
shenanigans of them being
we were
quarantined.
trying to say is he has no consequence to the story of the Fantastic Four until the end. He's just kind of there doing his own thing.
Yeah, they're both like doing their own separate things.
It did get a chuckle out of me when he just pulls out a missile launcher and shoots it at them.
No, that's like the cheesy stuff that I did not really like. Let's go pay them a surprise or a visit. A weapons contract from I forget what he said. From
Hey.
our armorers or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
From the armed
After-
forces.
Just a little something from our defense contracts.
Yeah, something like that.
It's just funny. Doom has all these powers. He's shooting a missile from the top of the building at them.
I know, New York City. Like, imagine he just missed.
Yeah, but
It's
it's funny.
like Johnny went around a building and just like,
It
blew up
picked-
the building.
Well, it'd been funny if he was holding it wrong because he never held a missile launcher and it blew up the wall behind him and killed him. What a madman, just shooting a missile in the skyline of New York to just kill people who are trying to cure themselves who want nothing to do with you. What a madman. But he just looks so silly.
See,
And
if I
granted,
was
Doctor
Doom-
Doom's design is silly. Don't get me wrong. This looks less silly than the comic design, but still looks silly. Just some freak in a metal mask and green robes.
If I was Doom, I would have let the Fantastic Four cure themselves, then
And kill them. Yes!
That's what I would have done.
Doom was just so hopped up on revenge that he wasn't thinking.
Which, I mean, it makes sense to his character. His whole pride and his ego is usually his downfall. But you think he'd be a little smarter than that. Let them cure themselves, then what are they gonna do? They can't stop you.
He should have just killed Ben right there after he helped Ben cure himself. Should have just grabbed him and threw him out a window.
I think one of the best Stan Lee cameos came from this movie because he actually wasn't just a cameo; he was technically playing a character.
Oh, that's true.
Sure.
Giving
Yeah, Willie
Reed Richards
Lumpkin.
his late notice.
Well, he was their mailman, and I think they had a joke where it's this power in the comics where like he could wiggle his ears. Like it was something really silly. But I thought it was funny. Like he's actually playing a character technically, and every time it's just like, oh, here's the Stan Lee, which it never hurts to see a Stan Lee cameo, but he actually played a character, which is actually funny this time. I think it's the only time he actually did play a character, right? Because every other time it was just a cameo. Oh, I think his cameo in the next Fantastic movie is even better.
Which we'll get to.
Wasn't that pulled straight out of the comics, Craig? Not to
Yeah.
get too much into it, yeah.
Yeah, that will save your thoughts for next week.
I can't wait till we see the next Fantastic Four reboot in 10 years.
It is crazy. Every 10-year increment, there's a new reboot. I think obviously we won't know until was it next month in July the next one comes out. If this movie still somehow manages to be the best Fantastic Four movie, something is terribly wrong. Because there's no excuse for First Steps to be worse than this. And if it somehow is, oh boy.
To be honest, I wouldn't even. There's a possibility that this is better than the MCU one, which fanboys won't really like. But Marvel's been striking out a lot lately, so I would not put it past them.
Yeah, and we'll definitely compare the cast to the new one. But so far, I thought this one's probably still better. And I think what really bogs down the new cast is just Pedro Pascal is in literally everything, and I'm sick of him. Could he just go run away in a field of corn or something and just disappear for a couple of years? I don't know.
Well, even not to go too much into it, but even like the Thing, yeah, he's fully CGI this time, but he's still not that much taller than the cast. Well, the voice isn't great. There's a shot in the trailer where he's standing next to Johnny, and they're the same height. Isn't he supposed to be like 7 feet tall, the Thing, or at least taller than most of the cast?
Who knows? I'll have to rewatch it when I'm editing this. I'll see.
One positive thing is the costumes. I feel these are the best live action costumes. They can't seem to get it right. Their costumes aren't supposed to be anything special. Like they keep trying to I think in the Fan Forest they try to have a scientific explanation why their suit can stretch and be on fire. Granted, I haven't seen it, but and the new one, it looks like they're wearing like sweaters.
Yeah, this
Doesn't look
one's
right.
skin tight, not leather, but some kind of stretchy material.
You almost look like they're wearing like a diving suit, which isn't necessarily the material I would choose, but it's definitely the best one that they have chosen for live action. It's definitely the best live action costume, and I just think it's weird that even the MCU couldn't get it right.
But with all that being said, is there any final thoughts for the 2005 Fantastic Four movie?
I think it's definitely overhated. It's not the best, it's not the worst, but people will, I think, seem to hate on it now just because it's not a Marvel MCU product.
Dana, what do you think? What's your final thought?
I still enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's good, not great, and I never understood a lot of the hate it got back then. I definitely thought it was better than the second movie, which we're going to get to next week. So, with all that being said, this has been The Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased except ours. I'm Colin.
I'm Craig.
And I'm Dr. Doom over here.
That's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
And we'll see you next week.